Joining us on this broadcast at this time is senior Aam Aadmi Party Minister Saurabh Bharadwaj. With us from the ruling BJP at the centre is Lok Sabha Member of Parliament Bansuri Swaraj. And we've got Sandeep Dikshit, senior Congress leader, joining us as well. So three big faces of Delhi politics with us on this broadcast. I first want to go across to my colleague Ashutosh Mishra, who tracked that big Aam Aadmi Party meeting this morning. And through the evening and late in the evening, the PAC met as well. Ashutosh, give our viewers a sense of what was discussed, who's the front runner, who's most likely to be Chief Minister tomorrow.
Well, all this name, Rahul, that in our report we shown to our viewers, perhaps were considered, and these names are doing around. But again, what my sources are saying, and if my guess is right, the Delhi is going to have another woman as a chief minister. But this time what we have seen in the PAC meeting was something never happened in the past. Arvind Kejriwal calling a PAC meeting, usually the meeting which lasts 20-25 minutes, this went around 1 hour 35 minutes. And this time, perhaps first time ever, he met all these members of the PAC individually, taking their opinion about the situation. Probably the names of the chief minister has not been discussed. What should be the next step? What should be the strategy? Where, what should be the party doing next? Because I know that there is tomorrow meeting, and they all know that there is tomorrow legislative party meeting has been called. So on that terms, the Kejriwal's idea is to gain a consensus. What I'm also hearing that most of these people told Arvind Kejriwal, whatever decision the party hierarchy takes, whatever decision Arvind Kejriwal takes, they will support it. Now it comes the final, again it will come to the Kejriwal when the observers tomorrow in the legislative party meet will propose a name. And of course, the name will be chosen by Arvind Kejriwal, whether there is consensus. At large, we have seen whenever Arvind Kejriwal projects something, there is always a consensus. So on that name, it is most likely coming on Atishi. But there are other names which are doing around, also includes Rakhi Bidlan and of course Kuldeep Kumar being a Dalit face. But now there is barely 4 months left. The administration will be critical. Some key schemes need to be implemented. And of course, you need a face who, in terms of working style, literally matches the idea and the style of Arvind Kejriwal. And on that, it is Atishi, who knows the style of functioning with Manish Sisodia not being part of the government, but has worked and has the administrative experience, Rahul.
Ashutosh Mishra, thank you for joining us. We'll come back to you for more later. I want to go across to Saurabh Bharadwaj now. Saurabh, I thought you'd be one of the front runners as well. You're a senior minister, trusted aide. ये सारे नाम ले रहे हैं, आपका उसमें नाम क्यों नहीं आ रहा
है? I think I met Ashutosh probably an hour back, and whatever I think he's briefing is quite correct. But yes, there are no names which are taking rounds. These are all basically speculations, and what I believe is that no name has been discussed. But yes, senior Atishi being a senior member of our cabinet, her name is being discussed widely. Similarly, Rakhi Bidla, similarly Kuldeep Kumar's, Gopal Rai's and Kailash Gehlot. So all these names are doing rounds, and it is just speculation. And
so let me ask you the question differently. Saurabh bhai, let me ask you the question differently. What kind of a chief minister do you think Delhi needs at this time?
I'm not in that. No. I'm not in the list.
Okay, so you're ruling yourself out. You're saying Saurabh Bharadwaj is not in the race to be the next chief minister. This is clear?
Yes, I am not in the discussion. Yes, this is clear.
But why not? Why not? If I look at the list, you are as qualified as anybody else. Why are you ruling yourself out?
Yes. No, everybody is qualified, but you asked me, so I, answered you. And what I believe is that for these 4 months, we need a chief minister who can help us, continue the governance, what we have in Delhi. And secondly, every narrative or every campaign will be towards bringing Mr. Arvind Kejriwal back in the chief minister's position.
Okay, let me ask you this question, Mr. Bharadwaj. What kind of a chief minister do you think the Aam Aadmi Party government needs in Delhi at this moment? Given that Arvind Kejriwal has said he will not be CM, Manish Sisodia will not be CM, you're saying you will not be CM. So forget getting into a particular name, but understanding the political context, What kind of a CM do you think Delhi and AAP requires at this moment?
I think somebody who can, take care of the government right now.
No, but that's a very simple, of course his job is to take care of the government. That's a very, you understood the depth of my question. You chose to answer it in a very simplistic fashion because you
I understood. Rahul ji, I know you are a veteran journalist, a senior editor, and I know your questions will drive me towards an answer, and I don't want to give an answer for that because I don't know the answer. I can't say that, oh, the Chief Minister should be the one who wears sari, oh, the Chief Minister should be the one who wears kurta pajama. I don't want to give any clues because I don't know.
Sure. The BJP is calling this a publicity stunt. Many said ये PM का birthday उन्होंने जानबूझ के because the PM will have his events, they've gone and announced it. ये सारे का सारा ये PR stunt कर रहे हैं.
No. I think if BJP wants to do a similar political stunt, they are most welcome to do it. They have governments in almost 22 states. They have 22 chief ministers. So any one of their chief minister can resign and say that, I want to go for, public's litmus test, Agni Pariksha, and they can take away all this publicity from Arvind Kejriwal. Why should only Arvind Kejriwal enjoy this publicity? It is open for everyone. Even the Prime Minister on his birthday can resign and he can say that, I got just 240, I want to go for a re-poll, I want to go for a Agni Pariksha, and let this birthday be, Prime Minister will be all over the world. All over the world media, there will be only Mr. Modi if he does this, and it is open.
No, but try and explain the deeper rationale. Is this really an attempt to try and wash off 10 years of anti-incumbency? Because if Kejriwal had been Chief Minister when you went to the voters for the next Delhi election, he would have been answerable directly and accountable to the voters. Now when there's another CM, it gives him some distance between the post of the Chief Minister and his political persona. Are you trying to create some distance to try and push away some of the anti-incumbency?
No, I think if you give this chance to any Chief Minister in the country and you tell him that, we are giving you this chance that you resign 6 months before it and, all the anti-incumbency will be washed away. No Chief Minister will agree to it, You have to literally push people out like Mr. Manohar Lal Khattar or for that matter anybody else. When you change Chief Ministers, it is not easy. And you don't change a Chief Minister and say that, we are contesting this election again in the same of the incumbent Chief Minister. Here is a situation where a sitting Chief Minister who is out on bail, who has now the Chief Minister's position waiting for him, he is saying, no, I don't want to sit on this chair. I want to go back to the people. I want to give this Agni Pariksha. I am hurt that for 2 years there have been frivolous allegations against me. Nothing has been proved in 2 years. Not even a trial has started. Even the Supreme Court has said that the CBI, the premier investigating agency, is acting like a caged parrot. This is what the Supreme Court has said about CBI. And it should try to work on the perception that it is not just independent, it should be perceived to be independent by the people. That means the people are perceiving investigating agencies as biased against the opposition parties. In spite of all these facts, here is a Chief Minister who is saying, no, I will not sit on this chair. I don't want to enjoy power. I want to go back to the people and I want to stand this Agni Pariksha. If the people of this Delhi believe that I am honest, I am imandar, they will vote me back to power. Otherwise, I'll go home. So here's the Chief Minister who's taking this risk.
How important is the Haryana Assembly election for the Aam Aadmi Party?
You need to have
At this moment, the Congress is in a direct fight with the BJP. AAP is a marginal third force. How much energy will you put into the Haryana elections? How do you respond to concerns that the more AAP and Kejriwal campaign, the more you could potentially benefit the BJP in Haryana?
Rahul ji, if you have, tracked the way Arvind Kejriwal campaigns in different states while he is the Chief Minister of Delhi, you have seen, he is the one who can dedicate a lot of time. He dedicated a lot of time to Punjab when we were contesting Punjab. Similarly, he went so many times to Gujarat. We, in fact, spent a lot of time in Goa, Himachal. So Arvind Kejriwal, being the national convener of the party, being the Chief Minister of Delhi, he has his own ways of, balancing time. And I think this is something which is true even for the Prime Minister. While being the Prime Minister, he is able to spend a lot of time in political campaigns across different states. So that is not a problem. I don't think, if he is not the Chief Minister of Delhi, he will camp in Haryana. No. Even if he is not the Chief Minister of Delhi, he will stay in Delhi. He will obviously go to Haryana, campaign there, come back. But I don't think that just because he is not the Chief Minister, he will be camping there in Haryana permanently. No, this is not going to happen. So yes, there will be some effect. Obviously, when he doesn't have the responsibility of a Chief Minister, he will be able to give some time more. But Delhi is also very important for us.
You're not answering my question, Mr. Bharadwaj. My question is, like Gujarat was supremely important for the AAP, you thought that this is where after Punjab and Delhi, you can grow next. On a scale of 1 to 10, how important is Haryana for the Aam Aadmi Party, and are you cognizant of the fact that the more you campaign, the better it is for the BJP?
I think that Haryana, it should be somewhere like 7 out of 10 for us. And I personally believe that this is just a misconception that Aam Aadmi Party cuts away the votes of Congress. In fact, I sincerely believe when we contest in states like Haryana, we take away more of urban votes, which are basically BJP votes, than Congress votes. And I think this is just a misconception, which is not based on any facts, that we take away votes from Congress. No, we don't. I think we cut away votes more from BJP than from Congress.
Okay, so basically, if I were to summarize everything that you've said to our viewers today, you've roughly indicated that a woman is most likely to be the next Chief Minister of Delhi. That's the sum and substance of what you've said. You haven't named which woman it is, even though you suggested Atishi might be the front runner. But basically, you are saying that a woman is most likely to be Arvind Kejriwalji's replacement.
No, I have not said it. I have not said it.
ठीक है, आपने जो बोला and what you didn't say, I think our viewers will form their own conclusion.
What I have said is that I am not the contender. Rahul ji, what I have said is that I am not the contender. There may be a lot of other contenders. It can be a woman, it can be a man.
Okay, I leave it over there. Saurabh Bharadwaj for joining us on this broadcast with your thoughts. Thank you very much. I want to go across to Bansuri Swaraj now, Member of Parliament of the BJP in Delhi. Thank you very much, Bansuri ji, for joining us. Would you accept that this decision of the Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal to say he'll be resigning tomorrow, has this caught the BJP off guard?
No, certainly not, because we know that this is nothing but, a service of his own political interests. This decision of the Honorable Chief Minister Shri Arvind Kejriwal does not stem from any kind of morality, because if it did, Rahulji, then he would have tendered his resignation 177 days ago. If you remember, even the Honorable Supreme Court of India had to indicate in its order that he ought to resign on grounds of morality. But today, if you see, various courts of the country have found him to be the kingpin of the liquor scam. And because of his involvement in the liquor scam, a very, very strict bail condition has been imposed by the Honorable Supreme Court of India, which debars him from entering the CM Secretariat and disallows him from signing any file. It seems that he is camouflaging his incapacitation by sort of taking this, putting a garb of morality on it and tendering his resignation. But it is nothing but a Rajneetik dhong.
Are you concerned from a BJP perspective that with Kejriwal's resignation, he'll have far more time than earlier for political activities? The action is first in Haryana, where he will be campaigning. We've seen in Delhi, there is a high degree of transferability between voters who vote for the BJP in Lok Sabha, same voters vote for Aam Aadmi Party in the assembly context, and therefore if that were to get replicated in Haryana, it could damage the BJP's vote bank in the state. You already faced 10 years of anti-incumbency. Could Kejriwal, unleashed in Haryana, make a tough election trickier?
No, certainly not, because if you remember, even during the Lok Sabha elections, Mr. Kejriwal had requested bail from the Honorable Supreme Court of India on the grounds of wanting to go and campaign, and that's why he was granted the interim bail. He campaigned that time not only in Delhi but all across India. But the result is for everyone to see that the people of India passed a verdict against Mr. Kejriwal. In Delhi especially, if you remember, his campaign was Jail Ka Jawab Vote. But people of India, in fact especially Delhi, delivered a verdict against him by ensuring that the Bharatiya Janata Party was chosen on all the 7 seats. So I don't think that his presence is going to make any difference.
What's your reading of the impact this has on BJP's chances in the Delhi Assembly elections? The BJP has frankly been floundering when it comes to local politics. Kejriwal is now trying to go and build his Aam Aadmi connection again. There are indicators that the Congress could be bouncing back, especially amongst the Dalits and the Muslims. And if that were to happen, are you basically hoping that the BJP's vote share stays intact and the opposition vote share splits into AAP and the Congress, and that way the BJP could possibly turn the next election into something that benefits the BJP?
It does not matter who is the chief minister from the Aam Aadmi Party, because unfortunately there's a very unfortunate truth, which is that whether it is the Honorable Chief Minister Shri Arvind Kejriwal or any other member of the Aam Aadmi Party, the dire state that the Aam Aadmi Party Sarkar has placed Delhi in is going to continue. They have for a decade enjoyed the fruits of power, but they have not actually done any development work here. And people of Delhi are very smart. So I'm telling you, in the upcoming state assembly elections, people are going to oust the Aam Aadmi Party Kejriwal government, because they know that it is Mr. Kejriwal who's responsible for in the despicable state that the roads, sewage, electricity, water and the other infrastructure, basic amenities of Delhi are in.
So one of the big problems for the BJP in Delhi is that you simply haven't had a face to take on the likes of Arvind Kejriwal. You've tried different people like Dr. Harshvardhan, Dr. Kiran Bedi. No one has succeeded. As Sushma Swaraj's daughter, do you, Bansuri, fancy your charges in the future at some point in time to take on Arvind Kejriwal? Would you like to pitch yourself as the face of the BJP in local politics?
Rahulji, you know that I do not answer hypothetical questions, but I can assure you that there is no dearth of talent in the Bharatiya Janata Party. Each and every Karyakarta of the BJP is very talented and capable of making sure that they become the CM face.
Arvind Kejriwal has resigned once in the past, in 2014. He returned a year later stronger. He's hoping to do the same. He's terming this his Agni Pariksha. He's playing for sympathy. He's pulled it off in the past. What makes you think he can't do it again? Establish himself as a born-again Aam Aadmi?
Rahulji, the circumstances are very different than 2014. Today, the courts of this country have time and again held that he is responsible for the liquor scam. He's the kingpin. He took 90 to 100 crore worth of kickbacks, which were actually misused in the Goa election for the Aam Aadmi Party. And because people know that there is a long list of scams in each and every department which was under the control of the Aam Aadmi Party, the people of Delhi are very, I would say, have awakened to the irregularities and the corrupt nature of the Kejriwal government. And that is why I don't think he's going to bounce back. Like I said, if you see the verdict which was passed in the People's Court on the 4th of June, it was against Mr. Kejriwal. And that time also, he was trying once again this entire farce of ensuring that he gains false sympathy. But the people did not buy it and they saw through it.
Bansuri Swaraj, I'll leave it over there. Thank you very much for joining us. The Lok Sabha Member of Parliament, Bansuri Swaraj, there speaking to India Today. I want to go across now to Sandeep Dikshit, senior Congress leader in Delhi, son of former Chief Minister Sheila Dikshit, also multiple times Member of Parliament from the East Delhi constituency. Sandeep ji, welcome. It's good to have you with us back on television after a long time. The Congress thought it was on the comeback trail on the back of the Lok Sabha elections and that this would rub off on Delhi as well, where you were hoping to get back some of your mother's old vote bank, particularly amongst the Dalits and the Muslims. Now, Arvind Kejriwal's surprise announcement, do you think this could mar or push back Congress's comeback chances in the capital?
But I think his whole thing is lot of dance and drama, nothing else really. And I think he's trying to extricate himself from a very impossible situation that he's created for himself. It comes out of 3 or 4 things. One is, if you just take a deeper look into the judgment that the Supreme Court gave. One part is that he got a bail, and that's good. I mean, I am always in support of bail. And I normally think that anybody, until unless he or she is prosecuted by the court, should get bail as soon as possible, and jail should only be an exception. So that's a part we welcome. But what was surprising was that unlike in the case of, because there were 2 chief ministers who were given bail within a matter of a month of each other, Hemant Soren, when he got his bail, was reinstated as a full chief minister with all his powers restored to him. There was no if and buts with regard to bail. But in his case, what is it that the Supreme Court said? Supreme Court said you cannot look at files. Supreme Court said you cannot go to office. Supreme Court said you cannot take any decision as a chief minister. Basically, in normal administrative parlance, we call that the officers got suspended. So he was basically a chief minister only in name. He could have his bungalow, he could have his cars, but he was mainly made what is called a kind of a nalayak chief minister. So I think what the Supreme Court clearly indicated is that in your current condition and the way in which your cases are, Supreme Court thought you are unfit to be a chief minister. Otherwise, there's nothing else that explains all these restrictions coming on Kejriwal. So having realized that, I think Kejriwal thought that since there is nothing to enjoy in the post of a chief minister, it's not a bad idea to also do a bit of nautanki and kind of resign in that. The second question you asked is how does this impact the Congress's chances? I think our resurgence in Delhi, and while we of course fought with Aam Aadmi, I think a large part of the fact that we performed fairly strongly in many of the seats, although we lost all 7, but there were some seats in which we came, at least the 3 seats that we got pretty close. Margins were about 1.5 lakh and not the kind that would have been expected, is that there was a reconfidence of people wanting to bring back the Congress as far as the Lok Sabha is concerned in Delhi. I think in that sense we put up a fairly decent performance. Unfortunately, in the 4 seats we did not fight. While our people were supporting Aam Aadmi, we could have probably built our base a little more. So that will be a bit of a negative factor. But I think the good thing for us is that people now realize that Congress is a force in Delhi. And I think that's something that's going to help us really greatly. We are also fairly effectively targeting both Aam Aadmi and BJP. And clearly, I don't think, just a last point I wanted to make, I don't think there's anybody in Delhi who does not admit to the fact that the last 10 years have actually been a great disaster in Delhi. So the only party that is being talked about, and as I said, it is Mrs. Dikshit who is being talked about in Delhi, almost as if it's a kind of a natural reaction to what's happening. I think that is something we need to cash on.
At Rahul Gandhi's nudging, a few days ago, the Congress was trying to ally with the Aam Aadmi Party in Haryana. Now these parties will be competing against each other. Are you concerned that the AAP could cut into the anti-BJP vote? We already saw that when AAP came in as a third force in Gujarat, the Congress was reduced to a rump. The BJP did better than it did even at the time when Prime Minister Modi was Chief Minister of Gujarat. So they've hammered your party in Delhi. They did the same in Punjab and even in a state like Gujarat where they traditionally haven't been strong. So are you concerned that could next happen in Haryana?
Right. See, that possibility is always there, and I think that's one of the reasons why Aam Aadmi Party is fighting 90 seats in Haryana. And, although there is nothing to support in terms of physical or concrete evidence, but there is a suspicion that maybe the reason why Manish Sisodia and Kejriwal were left off, this could be a quid pro quo that's happening. But as I said, having said that, there's not really any evidence, but there is a lot of suspicion to that. But I think what's happened in Haryana, from whatever I get as a feedback from my colleagues in the Congress, from people who are coming in from Haryana, from a lot of journalists, is that the decisive vote that is making the Congress do very, very well, and I'm sure we are winning in Haryana, is so large that, a little trouble that Aam Aadmi Party could cause is not going to change that vote. So Haryana in this case, because even last time I think they got about less than 0.5% of the vote. You see, Aam Aadmi Party and Kejriwal have one credibility, and I give it to them, is that they can project a far greater, larger than life image. I mean, many people call him as the next Prime Minister. In many states, every time they start an election, the people say that they are a great challenge, and except for Gujarat and one or two other states, they haven't been able to do much. So that credit I must give to them, but I don't think they'll be able to succeed in Haryana. Haryana, according to me, is almost a foregone conclusion.
Kejriwal is trying now to re-establish his connect with the Aam Aadmi, the Basti, the slum dweller, which was once the core of the Congress vote, is now at the heart of the AAP's vote bank. How do you hope to get it back? Because your hope was to try and bring that vote back to the Congress party. He now has the opportunity between September till February to re-establish himself, to throw himself back, to live in the jhuggies, to move away from the Chief Minister's house, and to try and ward off the effects of 10 years of anti-incumbency.
No, that's okay. I'm sure that is something any self-respecting politician would do. So I'm not surprised by that. But Rahulji, there is a difference between 2014 and 2024. There are 10 years of a rule. Even if basically I would call it a misrule, but there are 10 years of that misrule. There are now allegations, whether some people believe it or not, but there are very clear cases of allegations against this gentleman. He has been in jail for a long while. Congress is no longer got the same lack of credibility that we had in 2013 and 14. I mean, we have also conversed in 2013. Entire world believed that there is no party as corrupt as the Congress, and Delhi was part of that. In the last 11 years, it is not the Congress, but it is the other parties that have proved that the Congress's governance of 15 years was almost blameless as far as corruption is concerned. I mean, you may remember, I don't want to actually quote that, but since the question has come up, the Honorable Prime Minister in one of his statements during the elections had said that he was very, very surprised when something had been raised about Mrs. Dikshit. The Finance Minister said that where have those 350 pages of allegations gone, which were nothing but buncombe against Mrs. Dikshit. So I think Congress has been able to, unfortunately without our own efforts, been able to at least establish our credibility that, look, we did do a lot of good things in Delhi. So I think Congress is being seen in a very different light. Kejriwal is not the Kejriwal of 2014. And therefore, I think it's a great opportunity for the Congress, because we've been out of the misgovernance of Delhi for the last 10 years. BJP has played a part of it. Aam Aadmi Party has played a far larger part of that. I think if we are able to revoke the images of what Delhi was 10 to 12 years ago, combine it with a fresher outlook that we can give to people, I don't think Kejriwal is going to be the same person that even the poorest are going to look at. Yes, there is that free fund part of it, what Prime Minister calls Revdi, what many people call doles, what I called muftkhori. That part is there, and that will attract some people, because that is the only thing that is keeping him at least with some toehold in Delhi. But remember, once that is a part that we can breach, Aam Aadmi Party will be history.
Sandeep Dikshit, as I hear you speak, as I hear the likes of Ajay Makanji speak, Delhi Congress leaders seem to have a very clear anti-AAP position, whether it is for Delhi or even for other states like Haryana and Punjab. However, your leader of the opposition, Rahul Gandhi's opinion on this seems to be different. He, in fact, was pushing for an AAP Congress alliance in Haryana. It didn't ultimately materialize, but he thought this would help ensure that the opposition votes did not split. How do you see the anti-AAP strident position that you are taking with the more macro, let's keep the India alliance together position that Mr. Gandhi seems to be taking?
Well, I think I'm not exactly sure what his statement was or what he really meant. But you see, I take it at two levels. And I take it from the logic at which we came together in the India Alliance. And for me, the logic of many parties, including Aam Aadmi Party, coming close to the Congress was that the Congress and some of our friendly opposition parties identified that the BJP's misrule and the fact that the Prime Minister has not been able to perform in 10 years, it is important for us to remove both the Prime Minister and the Bharatiya Janata Party as far as the national elections are concerned. Which is why everybody who believed in that was allowed to come into a broader umbrella. We also had a certain series of new policies that we would initiate, which we thought will counter what the damage that the BJP is doing. And therefore a very, very broad consensus. And that's why a lot of parties who wanted to join into that bandwagon came. Aam Aadmi Party in some senses changed its stance from what it used to be earlier, because you may remember at one time Kejriwal used to say Modi as Prime Minister and me as Chief Minister. I think he had changed his stance. It may have been just temporarily for about 6 months or so. The same logic applies to Delhi, because here we identify the Aam Aadmi to be the decisive party that has destroyed Delhi. And nobody can say that Delhi has not been destroyed. I think it's only the Andhbhakt of Aam Aadmi Party who may publicly announce something differently. But almost everything that is in Delhi today is in crumbles. And therefore, for us, the way and the manner and the policy and the outlook at which we identified Mr. Modi and the BJP as a party to be removed at the national level, that logic applies, and therefore the person who has to be taken out of Delhi for the people of Delhi and for the governance of Delhi is Arvind Kejriwal. So I think in that sense, I don't think there will be any disconnect between the way we are thinking, who are local leaders in Delhi, and our national leaders.
Okay, we'll leave it over there. Interesting perspectives from Sandeep Dikshit from the Congress, and before that from Bansuri Swaraj of the BJP and Saurabh Bharadwaj of the Aam Aadmi Party. Thank you very much, Mr. Dikshit, for joining us. Appreciate you taking out time. You're not very frequent on television, so I appreciate that you took out time to speak to us tonight.